An absolutely gorgeous Sunday afternoon for Big East women's soccer from the Selig Bowl on the campus of Butler University as the Bulldogs look for their 10th win in 2019, taking on the Marquette Golden Eagles with massive postseason implications on the line tonight. It's the penultimate week of Big East women's soccer play. Bulldogs need a draw to secure another postseason appearance in the Big East tournament. As we take a look at the standings, all 10 teams in action this afternoon, kicking off at 1 p.m. Xavier atop the table, but not by much. In fact, DePaul and Xavier are separated by just half a game. So this one huge today for Butler. A draw again gets them into the tournament. Again, a win keeps their hopes alive to host a Big East tournament match. The only team that's out of contention at this point is Seton Hall. The other 9 teams all still vying for those 6 playoff spots. As we take a look at our impact players this afternoon from Butler and for Marquette, it's Alyssa Bombasino. Before the Xavier match on Thursday, she had bagged hat tricks in back-to-back games. It's a Marquette side that has scored in the last 6 matches, taking on a very good Butler team today that prides itself on defense. They'll need Bombasino in the offensive third. On the other side for the Bulldogs, it is the sophomore from up the road in Carmel, Indiana, Katie Soderstrom, with 7 goals this year. She's also tallied 7 assists, has been spectacular in a breakout offensive campaign. Big postseason implications on the line this afternoon from Indianapolis. It's Butler, it's Marquette, a battle of 2 brilliant Big East programs. It's coming up next on the Big East Digital Network.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Hallelujah.
And this is just one night. You should see what we do during the day. Marquette University. Be the difference.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/.
Back on a beautiful Sunday afternoon on the campus of Butler University. Kickoff is right around the corner as we send it down to the second member of our team this afternoon, Audrey Westcott, who is pitch side.
Hey, Matt, like you said, it's a beautiful day here in Indy, and it's a big day in Big East soccer. Butler is vying not only for a draw, but for a W, because a W will let them host a Big East championship match here at home. And when you're 6-0 at home, you want that home field advantage. And then on the Marquette side, they're just vying to stay in the mix, but they're coming over a big win, 4-0 over Seton Hall. So the momentum is there for them. So it's going to be a big day, lots of action on the field, and we're excited.
Absolutely, Audrey. A big day across the conference. All 10 teams in action. All 5 matches today kicking off at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Or in our case, a 1:05 kickoff. Absolutely gorgeous afternoon. 65 and sunny, a light breeze. The interesting thing about this Butler Bowl being that it's down a bit from ground level, the wind really swirls down here. And you can see the flag in the distance on your screen whipping around on the north end of the pitch. It will be interesting to see how the ball is played this afternoon. Butler unbeaten in their last 5 matches, coming off a draw against the 14th ranked Georgetown Hoyas, who just fell to DePaul earlier in the week. A lot of parity in this league this season. Marquette, on the other hand, they have been in a really good run of form lately, although they are coming off a loss to Xavier on Thursday night, falling 2-1 after going down 2-0 in the opening 6 minutes. The key today for Marcus Roeder's side and Marquette, unlocking this Butler defense. As we take a look at the Golden Eagles starting lineups, Mattie Henry, 4-year starter in net, all-time saves leader. She's been huge for them in this recent run of play. Kylie Sprecher, another one to watch, as well as Brianna Yeager. It's been a very good Marquette back line, but at times this season they have struggled to score in the area. And on the other side for the Bulldogs, Stephanie Rodriguez, in her first season as a starter, has been brilliant. They lead the league in clean sheets this season. Anya Savage and Katie Soderstrom tied for the team lead in goals scored with 7. Butler in the white home uniforms and blue trunks. Marquette in the gold and blue. And we've just received word from Pam Flanke, our women's soccer guru in the Big East Conference, that rain has significantly delayed the games on the East Coast. Johnny's and Creighton are in a rain delay, and Georgetown and Seton Hall have been delayed until 3 p.m. with flooding on the fields. So by the time this game ends, perhaps Georgetown will know if they need a 3-point result to keep pace with Butler. Both teams are tied for second right now with 14 points. They sit currently 1 point behind Xavier. Here is Bombasino. And Morgan Kloosterman wins it back for the Dogs. It is alumni weekend on the campus here in Indianapolis for both the men's and the women's programs. Butler making a run early and played wide by Yeager. Dogs still hunting here.
Kind of. It's
unbeaten in their last 5 matches. And they've lost just 1 home match since October 6, 2016. Lost a non-conference bout against the University of Illinois earlier in September. Here's Soderstrom. Still with it now. Nifty playing it into the area. Gainer across.
I know, right? Like, it's not like I'm getting paid by tallies here.
Kowalski. Marquette packing it in. Kowalski off the mark. And our first look at Mattie Henry making her 75th start in goal this afternoon for Marquette. The all-time saves leader for the Golden Eagles, over 300 in her career. And certainly they will need her in these final 2 games to play some of her best soccer if Marquette is to advance to the Big East tournament.
It wasn't, they didn't kick it towards me. They should have kicked it towards me. I blame the goal.
As Audrey talked about, the road for Butler is much simpler than for the Marquette Golden Eagles. The Dogs need just a draw today to secure another postseason berth into the Big East tournament. A win would keep their hopes alive of hosting a tournament match, be it in the first round or the second, should they get a top 2 seed and a bye. For Marquette, it's a bit murkier. A win would certainly put them ahead of either Providence or Nova in the standings, as both those sides take each other on this afternoon. However, it does not necessarily guarantee them a spot in the postseason. Marquette currently in a 3-way tie for 5th with Providence and Villanova. Butler men are also in action today across campus. Been another big match with postseason applications. Really, both the men's and the women's leagues this year in the Big East Conference have been incredibly competitive, with a lot of parity from top to bottom. Here is Anya Savage. One back by Kloosterman. Such a high motor, Morgan Kloosterman. You'll find her all over the field. In the offensive third and defending. It's a Butler team that have not allowed a goal in the last 4 matches. And here they are again into the area, weaving through traffic, an opportunity, and Savage puts it through. Offside flag stays down, and the Dogs are on the board in the opening 5 minutes. Absolutely spectacular run of play for Butler. And it was all set up by Macy Miller, who had the game-winning goal in their match against Providence on Thursday, this time assisting Anya Savage. And that ball might have actually crossed the touchline before Savage got a foot on it, so we'll await official word on who that goal is credited to. But either way, the Dogs on top 1-0, and Macy Miller, a one-woman wrecking crew, bringing it to the edge of the 6. Henry got a fingertip on it, but not enough. Savage making sure that it found the back of net. 1-0 Butler.
Bulldog goal in the 6 minutes, number 7, Anya Savage.
And it was officially credited to Anya Savage.
I would hope so, because I called it.
And here is Savage making a run on the near side. Then it rolls out. Couldn't quite keep a touch to keep it in. Bit frustrating. Butler, led by head coaches Terry St. John and Rob Allman. Husband and wife. They have made it to the NCAA tournament twice in the last 4 seasons, losing to Northwestern in 2017 in overtime. In fact, it went all the way to penalty kicks, and then they lost to Ohio State in 2015, the only year that the Dogs won the conference tournament, and they lost that on a golden goal scenario in overtime. Looking at their RPI this year, it would be tough for Butler to get in as an at-large unless something drastic were to happen in other conferences across the country, which makes home field advantage in the Big East tournament all the more important. Here's a long shot and over the top bar. It was tricky. Katrina Wetherell put some spin on it. First look today at Stephanie Rodriguez. Wetherell on the volley, just missing the crossbar.
I got her on 3.
Quick break in the action as Bombasino has gone over to the sideline to receive attention from the medical training staff, which may force Marcus Roders to go to his bench early. Marcus Roders, the head man at Marquette. He's in his 24th season. But now we play on.
Marquette substitution, 3, Aaron Johnston. From 15, Alyssa Bombasino.
Aaron Johnston has come on for Alyssa Bombasino. Soderstrom to Savage. Soderstrom now keeping it alive. Has a go on off the bar. My goodness, Butler swarming early on the edge of the 18.
Defensive play by that non-moving apparatus.
Soderstrom didn't need much room here. Sneaking it past Henry, who got some help from the post. Butler 3-0-2 in their last 5 matches.
Marquette substitution, 15,
As Alyssa Bombasino comes back on for Marquette. One of the big points of emphasis for Terry St. John has been possession. And here is Soderstrom over the top bar. Another nervy moment for Mattie Henry on this long throw for Monica Schmidt. What a weapon she is for Butler. But Terry St. John felt like her team has been more patient in possession and more purposeful. And with some of the technology that they use in game, they've been able to see just how much Butler have possessed. They have beaten every team they faced in possession in the last 5 except for Georgetown, who they played here last Sunday. And that ended in a 0-0 draw after 2 overtimes. On the other side, Marcus Roders has really emphasized set pieces and throws, both defending them and being more intentional with the service. Marcus Roders in his 24th year. Here's a ball across and well handled by Rodriguez coming off her line. One more look at it. Played in by Weatherell, who's had a couple of tricky passes and or shots into the area in the last 10 minutes. Johnson pushed off, nothing from the referee, and it's back to Butler. Savage watches it go out for a throw, and now Amanda Kowalski will come forward. Butler's last home conference loss, October 6, 2016 to Providence, falling 2-1. They have just been so good at the Selig Bowl. Played forward by Kloosterman and rolled out by Brianna Yeager. It is not an easy place to play. Sidelines, very, very claustrophobic. You're throwing it in from a phone booth most of the time. Sight lines are different. You're playing on turf as well. You've got the football lines on the field. Playing in the shadows of Hinkle Fieldhouse. It is certainly one of the more unique venues across Big East women's or men's soccer. And the Butler women's program has taken advantage. Savage turning it back in, and she draws a foul. Trey Krell, our central referee this afternoon. Been a really cleanly played match in these opening 15 minutes. Really the first foul that we've seen, leading to a free kick.
Stupid. Somebody got hit and they knocked down. And they're like, oh, yeah.
Kowalski lining it up to serve it in. Looking back post for Annika Schmidt, and it is out for a goal kick. Golden Eagles have lost their last 2 matches against Butler. As you take another look at this last free kick from Amanda Kowalski. Over those 2 matches, they have a -4 goal differential.
Where's Nate at?
Lost 1-0 to Butler in 2018 on a goal by Anya Savage, who just scored the opening goal for Butler not 5 minutes ago. And then in 2017, falling 3-0 here at the Butler Bowl. Savage through contact. Playing it forward for Miller. Schmidt. Johnson. Knocked off the ball, and Monticello playing it back. Marquette coming off a rather disappointing campaign in 2018, finishing 4-11-3 with a 2-5-2 conference record. It was the first time that the Golden Eagles missed a conference tournament since their inaugural season back in 1993. This has been a team that has grown accustomed to postseason appearances year after year, regardless of the conference. And for many years, it's been in this Big East, whether it would have been in the old or the realigned league, as we have it now. Soderstrom on the edge of the 18 for Savage. Has a turn and pushed wide. Beautiful save from Mattie Henry, and it's out for a corner kick. Excellent ball from Annika Schmidt. Soderstrom finding Savage. Butler stringing passes together really well to begin this opening 45 minutes. Henry directing traffic.
Cutting my reacts off. Big decide.
Soderstrom on the corner. Headed on, still alive. Johnson playing it back out. Kowalski into the midst of Mattie Henry. This season, Marquette 2 games under 500, but they have a 3-2-1 record in conference play. They've really come together well over the last month of the season. And at one point, they had won 3 straight with wins over St. John's, Seton Hall, and Villanova. Here is Macy Miller, and well defended on the far side. Marquette and their back line. A lot of veteran presence across the back 4. In those 3 conference wins, though, Marquette's only win against a current playoff contender is Villanova. That's the only team out of that group of Seton Hall, St. John's, and Villanova who are currently above the playoff line. Marquette in a three-way tie for 5th with Villanova and Providence, who are playing each other today. Of course, Providence does have the head-to-head on Villanova. A win today for Marquette, though, would at least give them an advantage over one of those two teams, either Nova or Providence. Still so much to be decided in these final 2 matches of the regular season. Top 2 seeds earn a first-round bye. The 3 seed hosts the 6, and the 4 hosts the 5 in the first round. And that is what Butler is playing for today. They want to host, but more than that, they want a bye and a home match in the second round. Especially considering the fact that more than likely they'll have to win the conference tournament to get into the NCAA. Blocked by Kowalski. Into the middle now for Soderstrom. Shadowed by Brianna Yeager. And too hot from AC Miller. Back to Marquette. There's a ball in from Emily Hess. Marquette really, minus that one shot from Katrina Wetherell, really haven't tested the Bulldogs too much in these opening 20. It has been Butler on the front foot, as Miller walks it into the offensive third. Well defended that time from Bombasino. Klusterman. Savage. Wide for Kowalski now. And stolen away by Emily Hess. And now Monticello. Butler's Big East runs have ended each of the last 2 years in the conference tournament final against Georgetown. They fell 1-0 last year and did not make the NCAA tournament. They fell to Georgetown in 2017 as well, but had a high enough RPI to get into the first round before falling to Northwestern. And since entering the Big East, it's really been a program that has continued to rise. Terry St. John in her 12th season at the helm. Rob Allman has been by her side for 8 seasons now. Trey Krell. Restart coming for the Golden Eagles. Well, as discussed earlier in the match, set pieces have been a point of emphasis for Marcus Roders going forward. So much of the time as you get into postseason play, set pieces are an area that can certainly turn the tables. Wetherell goes for goal. She has been ambitious and has shown the ability to play it close from deep.
For 22, Abby Hess.
Wetherell, the sophomore from Arizona, does have 2 goals. And she is the focal point in any set piece that they take, particularly ones that are anywhere near the 18 as Rodriguez lines up the goal kick, and we are playing again. All 10 teams in action this afternoon. Glad to have you with us, tuning in from wherever you are in Indianapolis. It is a beautiful afternoon. All the bad weather we had here over the last 2 days has made its way to the East Coast, delaying some of our start times out east. Butler's Alyssa Yarish rolling it back to Schmidt. And now near side for Kowalski. Butler has always been a program under Terry St. John that has utilized building from the back and possession. But this year, and really last year, more than years past, they have shown the ability to be a very front-footed team. And that hasn't necessarily always been the case, but what they have shown is versatility in finding ways to get a result. Against Georgetown, it was defending for long periods and picking their spots. Today, it has been an all-out attack for the most part. Marquette conceding a goal in the opening 10 minutes to Butler's Anya Savage. It was her 8th goal of the season. Butler trying to keep their unbeaten streak alive. Should they remain unbeaten after today, it would be 6 consecutive matches without a loss. Hess. Her sister Abby running in the foreground. The Hess sisters. Emily a senior, Abby a redshirt junior. Still has 1 more year with Marquette.
Marquette substitution, 10, Natalie Yas for 8, Kylie Sprecher.
Natalie Yas coming in for Kylie Sprecher. Yas, the transfer from Northern Illinois. Here is Yas making her first touch of the afternoon, but muscled off the ball, and now Butler bringing numbers forward. A 3-on-3 situation as Marquette sprints back. Soderstrom playing it past Hess. Into the area, Kloosterman, but cleared off the back line. Schmidt rolling it back to Rodriguez, who spent the last 2 seasons sitting behind Leonie Duga and Hannah Lidke. Duga, of course, a Big East Keeper of the Year during her tenure, and Lidke equally as impressive. The two would split equal time under Rob Allman and Terry St. John. Rodriguez see the field until this year. Developed a lot of trust and confidence in her teammates from her performance in training, and could have easily stepped in and started for many programs across the country had she not been behind 2 of the best in the conference. Here's a ball forward from Macy Miller. She's got Soderstrom in the area. A touch from Soderstrom, and Henry there to keep it from finding the back of the net. Soderstrom could just have gotten a bit more behind it. It could easily have been 2-0. Savage hounded. Butler forced to play it back. Miller again on the left side. And taken off the ball by Josie Kelderman. And it goes back to Marquette. Yeager colliding with Butler's Celia Gaynor. Marquette finished their Big East regular season campaign with 2 road matches. This one here in Indianapolis. And then they go to Chicago next week for a Halloween matchup with the Blue Demons. Of course, DePaul shocking Georgetown earlier this week with a 1-0 overtime victory. Speaking of Chicago women's soccer, the Chicago Red Stars in the NWSL final this afternoon. Marquette trying to find a response here late in the first half. 15 minutes left with Butler maintaining a 1-goal lead thanks to Anya Savage.
Bulldog substitution, 11 Taylor Crow for 5 Amanda
Taylor
Kowalski.
Crow coming on for Amanda Kowalski now. Butler making a substitution here in the final 15 minutes.
They keep getting our talent. Yeah, they are.
Bulldogs in a tie with Georgetown with 14 points. Second in the standings, 1 point behind Xavier. Coming off a big win over this Marquette side on Thursday. Golden Eagles keeping it alive until now. Rolls out of bounds and a goal kick coming for Rodriguez.
Bulldog substitution, 15 Celia Gaynor for 14 Macy Miller.
And now Celia Gaynor comes back on for Macy Miller, who has had a fantastic opening 30 minutes here in Indy. Led to that Anya Savage goal in the 11th minute. Emily Hess. Yas playing it back to Yeager. Butler comfortable in defense right now. They have pressed in waves. This could be an opportunity here for Marquette. Monticello. And played out for a throw by Butler's Julia Leonard. And actually a corner has been awarded to the Golden Eagles. Their first of the afternoon. So here we go. Might this be an opportunity for Marquette? Emily Hess. She would like another chance at that. Hess making her 75th appearance in a Marquette Golden Eagle uniform. But on top of that, has had the joy of playing next to her sister Abby Hess for the last couple of seasons in Milwaukee. The Hess sisters have seen a lot of time on the field between the two of them. Yas now. And turning it over on the foot of Anya Savage. Soderstrom making a run. Savage into the area for Soderstrom and a huge save. Mattie Henry off her line. Butler still alive. Soderstrom on the edge. Mattie Henry coming up big again for Marquette. And this has been the best save of the day so far. Blocking it with her shin as Marquette continues to weather the storm.
I heard the word storms. I said flags. That's what I do. Yeah, fuck those backwards flags.
Yeager into the midfield. Headed on by Rachel Johnson, and now here is Campana, the freshman.
He's Liverpool.
Back the other way, Annika Schmidt drawing the foul.
He's like, no, she's got rug burn.
Slow to get up. Considered the warrior of the back line for Butler. Transferred in from
Fell on this giant mattress out here. It hurts so bad.
University of Connecticut after her freshman season.
Yeah, just like that. Who was that girl that was going around on top corner? Is that like the BYU girl? Raina?
Pass.
That could have been flavor.
Campana. And it's out for a Butler throw. Marquette have been more aggressive over the last 15 minutes. Finding some opportunities anyway on the edge of the 18. No real shots to speak of though. Butler with 9 shots in this opening half to Marquette's 2. Although Katrina Weatherall certainly did give Rodriguez something to think about. Here's a beautiful ball forward for Soderstrom again, and this time she beats Mattie Henry. 2-0 Butler on a fantastic run of play from the Dogs. They are looking like a championship contender this afternoon. And the leading scorers hooking up for another goal. This time it's Savage feeding Soderstrom. And she wasn't going to let Henry stop her this time. Just a brilliant through ball to Katie Soderstrom. Full extension from Mattie Henry, who's made some fantastic saves today. And now Marquette really in a bit of a hole here, down 2-0. Second time in the last 2 matches they've found themselves trailing by 2 in the first half. Xavier was up 2-0 in the 7th minute on Thursday. Marquette drawing to within 1 before falling 2-1 as Crow brings it up for Butler. They are hunting for another in these final 10 minutes of the first half. Here is Crow. Alive still. Crow weaving through traffic, and Yeager coming back to support. What kind of an adjustment can the Golden Eagles make today? Down to a Butler side that have not conceded in the last 4 matches. Emily Hess. on the hop, played out by Rodriguez.
Marquette substitution, 9, Macy Schock for 23, Rachel Johnson.
Macy Schock coming in for the first time this afternoon. Relieving Rachel Johnson.
Do what now?
Schock has a goal-scoring ability. 3 goals in 9 appearances this season. 1 goal in conference play against St. John's. Perhaps she can get on the end of a pass and create for Marquette. Yas winning it back. And drawing a foul. Yeager. Campana. Gaynor chased back by Aaron Johnston.
Of course he did. You guys can come back.
Soderstrom dancing.
Window closed.
Still alive for Butler as they bring numbers into the area. Ball in for Kloosterman and just a tad out of her reach. Butler, by the way, have made a substitution. Alana Wood is on. The freshman from Chesterfield Township, Michigan. Soderstrom, uber active as usual this afternoon. Giving Butler the 2-goal lead with just over 6 minutes remaining in the first half.
Somebody lost
And certainly, Marquette will have to come out with an aggressive attacking mindset in the second half. But 3 goals, if they can keep it to 2 for Butler, 3 goals for Marquette is a bit of a tall order against a Butler team that haven't allowed one in the last 4 matches.
I'm gonna say she's gonna kick it to these girls right here.
A draw, though, wouldn't necessarily remove Marquette from the playoff conversation.
They tried. Yeah, they didn't really hit it, did they?
For Marquette, though, it's really just a matter of finding the back of the net,
Really hard.
getting some of that confidence, seeing the ball go through. They made it tough for Xavier to hang on, trailing 2-0 after the opening 6 minutes at home to the Musketeers on Thursday. So certainly capable of a comeback here. Crow on the near side.
You know you've seen the magic stray.
Johnston. She was trying to thread it to Schock. Played back by Annika Schmidt. Maggie Lena has come on for Marquette. The junior from Santa Monica, California.
That's not rude.
Marquette bench encouraging the Golden Eagles
side and go over and find out like
cheering them on and hoping for that end of first half response.
Right now you're just gathering information.
Butler have been really sound in possession today, though. Almost undefendable at times. With some very precise passing. Johnston does well to keep it alive for Marquette. Back to Emily Hess. And Kloosterman stealing it with space.
I said gather intel.
She left it off on a run for Alana Wood. Coming off her line, Henry, and a quick throw out now, far side.
The roster are doing pretty good right now. They've been bothering my talent, which I'm perfectly fine with. Yeah, for real, right? Like, not you, Schmidt. She was just standing here playing on Facebook and then doing
Campana.
Like, why wouldn't you?
Yas.
You've been on air for 30 seconds. You gotta do makeup again.
And just too far. Back to Butler. 2.5 minutes left in these opening 45. Butler with goals from Anya Savage and Katie Soderstrom, their top 2 goal scorers this season. Each with 8.
I don't even know where the ball's at.
Julia Leonard managing a smile. She's played well on the back line through 43 minutes of action here. All 10 teams playing today.
There it is. They were hiding, just holding it.
On the final Sunday of the Big East women's soccer regular season. Taylor Crow. Soderstrom, defended by Yeager. High ball, back post. And a Butler third goal for the Dogs.
I did not have that.
This time Alana Wood. A late first half substitution.
You just see the end.
And the Dogs on their front foot all afternoon in this first half. Wood, just a filthy chip. And I think initially she was looking for Celia Gaynor on the back of that. Wood, the freshman from Michigan, getting involved in the scoring action. Dogs on top by 3. Kloosterman, big takedown in the midfield, and she draws a foul on Yas. That is Alana Wood's first career goal
That is not a real day.
at the college level.
No, that's her real name.
1 minute to play.
60 seconds remain in the first half. Butler keeping the pressure on the Golden Eagles, who are fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive. Butler, on the other hand, trying to make a statement today and move one step further to securing a top 2 spot in a first round bye, as well as a home playoff match. The final will be played on the campus of Creighton University in Omaha, in that gorgeous soccer facility that they have there overlooking downtown Omaha, and has been home to many a Big East tournament championship and a couple of very good soccer programs over the years. As the first half comes to a close in Indianapolis. 45 down, 45 to go, and Butler in control through the first 45 minutes, on top 3-0 from the Selleck Bowl in Indianapolis. We'll be back with more at the halftime break after this.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Hallelujah.
And this is just one night. You should see what we do during the day. Marquette University. Be the difference.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Hallelujah.
And this is just one night. You should see what we do during the day. Marquette University. Be the difference.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
One of the positives about the sports business in the last couple of years, and in recent years in particular, has been the growing interest in seeing our industry become a more diverse and inclusive place.
I find it important for us to amplify the voices of those who have not traditionally had a seat at the table. As a Black African woman, my various social identities are always at the forefront of my daily interactions, from my first name, my culture, to where I'm from. So for me, diversity is about us celebrating our uniqueness as a society.
A lot of what happens in terms of diversifying workforce in the college world happens at the campus level. That's really where the core hiring takes place. The schools are responsible for hiring their directors of athletics, their staffs, their coaches. And so the conference is really a step away from that activity, but I think conferences can and should set a tone. And so in the Big East, we have tried to make diversity and inclusion a conference strategic priority. We have, for example, within our conference SAC group, designated a diversity and inclusion officer. D&I has become an important topic of discussion at SAC meetings. And our D&I officer is now included into the conference-wide diversity and inclusion working group that we've created.
I currently serve as the conference's Student Athlete Advisory Committee's Diversity and Inclusion Officer. This position is charged with ensuring that the conference carries out its commitment to inclusion for all. And I assist the conference staff in creating opportunities for student athletes from different backgrounds to come together to share and exchange ideas. I also work closely with the Big East Diversity and Inclusion Working Group.
You know, when I think about diversity, I think about the fact that diversity is a fact. When we think about inclusion, we think about inclusion being a choice. And I think if we can succeed in anything at the Big East is to impress upon everyone how inclusion isn't just a choice but a responsibility.
The Big East is committed to continuing the development of programs and initiatives that support diverse and inclusive environments for our student athletes, coaches, staff, and communities.
One of the positives about the sports business in the last couple of years, and in recent years in particular, has been the growing interest in seeing our industry become a more diverse and inclusive place.
I find it important for us to amplify the voices of those who have not traditionally had a seat at the table. As a Black African woman, my various social identities are always at the forefront of my daily interactions, from my first name, my culture, to where I'm from. So for me, diversity is about us celebrating our uniqueness as a society.
A lot of what happens in terms of diversifying workforce in the college world happens at the campus level. That's really where the core hiring takes place. The schools are responsible for hiring their directors of athletics, their staffs, their coaches. And so the conference is really a step away from that activity, but I think conferences can and should set a tone. And so in the Big East, we have tried to make diversity and inclusion a conference strategic priority. We have, for example, within our conference SAC group, designated a diversity and inclusion officer. D&I has become an important topic of discussion at SAC meetings. And our D&I officer is now included into the conference-wide diversity and inclusion working group that we've created.
I currently serve as the conference's Student Athlete Advisory Committee's Diversity and Inclusion Officer. This position is charged with ensuring that the conference carries out its commitment to inclusion for all. And I assist the conference staff in creating opportunities for student athletes from different backgrounds to come together to share and exchange ideas. I also work closely with the Big East Diversity and Inclusion Working Group.
You know, when I think about diversity, I think about the fact that diversity is a fact. When we think about inclusion, we think about inclusion being a choice. And I think if we can succeed in anything at the Big East is to impress upon everyone how inclusion isn't just a choice but a responsibility.
The Big East is committed to continuing the development of programs and initiatives that support diverse and inclusive environments for our student athletes, coaches, staff, and communities.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Hallelujah.
And this is just one night. You should see what we do during the day. Marquette University. Be the difference.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Hallelujah.
And this is just one night. You should see what we do during the day. Marquette University. Be the difference.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Hallelujah.
And this is just one night. You should see what we do during the day. Marquette University. Be the difference.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Hallelujah.
And this is just one night. You should see what we do during the day. Marquette University. Be the difference.
Back at the halftime break from Butler University, where the Bulldogs are on top 3-0 in control in the first half over the Marquette Golden Eagles, playing for a first-round bye and home field advantage in the Big East Women's Soccer Tournament, which is just around the corner. Highlights from the first half: Macy Miller finding the foot of Anya Savage. That was in the opening 10 minutes. Miller, just a beautiful play, running it all the way into the edge of the 6. And then Savage just making sure it found the back of the net. And then this ball from Savage, absolutely beautiful, finding Soderstrom, who snuck it past Mattie Henry. Nothing Henry could do there. All-time saves leader for Marquette. Soderstrom getting it past her. That was 2-0 Butler. It will remain that way for a while, but then a late substitution in the first half. Alana Wood on a volley. Ball was getting cleared out by Marquette. Wood plays it back in and finds the back of the net for her first career goal. 3-0 Butler at the halftime break. as we take a look at the stats and key figures from the first 45 minutes. Butler controlled possession for 64% of the time. Mattie Henry had a couple of really big saves, but you really have to credit Butler and how they were able to unlock this Marquette defense, who will need major contributions from their front three and really from all 11 on the field to make a comeback here, as we send it down to the second member of our team, Audrey Westcott, who is pitch side.
Matt, as you said, Butler has one thing on their mind. They want that home field advantage, and boy, are they playing for it. 3 goals in the first half, including a career first for Alana Wood. Across the team, everybody knows what's on the line, and they're fighting for it. On the Marquette side, I talked to Coach Reuters, and he is obviously not happy. For him, he says his team needs to calm down, take a breather, and show up. Too much energy, they're bouncing around, and they're not executing. So for the second half, it's all about focus and remember to breathe.
Well, certainly you can't score all 3 goals in one try, right? And so it just comes down to focusing on 1 goal at a time. And as we touched on in the first half, for Marquette, it's just about finding the back of the net once, and then perhaps the rest will follow. Here's an opportunity. It was Kylie Sprecher on the receiving end of that pass that rolled out for a goal kick, but early aggressiveness from Marquette, and they will certainly need to press highly, trying to cause some Butler turnovers, something we haven't seen much this afternoon. Monticello playing it back in. And you can see already Marquette, everyone forward. Only Jaeger near the midfield line. No one home on that cross that came in. Looking for Bombasino. Mary Kate Simon on the pitch for Marquette to start the second half. Did not play in the first half. Jaeger blocked hard.
Is there a word for when you guys pick the ball at the same time?
And cleared away by Butler's Annika Schmidt.
There's no like actual term for that. It's on people, they're everywhere.
Butler and Marquette play similar styles. They both like to build from the back.
Yeah, we're gonna need to get a
And in possession, they sort of fall into a 3-5-3. Whereas when they defend, they almost always have 4 on the back line. But oftentimes, and specifically from what we've seen on the Butler side today, they love to get it outside in, where their wing backs are playing it into the middle. And a couple of Butler goals have come that way today. Marquette have struggled, though, not just today, but all season, really, to play the way they want to play consistently. And Audrey touched on that earlier. Marcus Roeder's not pleased with the energy or the focus of his team in that first half.
Plays it short.
Trey Crowell has stopped the clock and has issued a booking to Madison Burrier. First card of the afternoon shown. And now Butler will get it on the restart.
Short-haired girl on the yellow.
Bulldogs tied for second with 14 points, along with the Georgetown Hoyas. Both teams have played each other in back-to-back Big East tournament finals. Georgetown have won 3 straight. They beat this Marquette team in the tournament final back in 2016. Here's a beautiful run coming forward. Mary Kate Simon, defended by Crow. Still alive for Simon, and into the middle. Monticello now. Played in by Wetherell. Headed off by Annika Schmidt. Campana looking for Sprecher. Butler wanted the handball, won't get it. Big takedown, and Jaeger draws a free kick. And another booking, 2 coming in the span of 2 minutes, this time for Butler, and it goes against Celia Gaynor. Sprecher, rather, Jaeger, slow to get up, but she does so under her own power and now heads towards the edge of the 18. This is a real opportunity for Marquette to get on the board here. 5 minutes gone already in the second half. Katrina Wetherell from 30 yards out has a go and sails over the top bar. She does not hesitate to go for it. 2 goals this season in her sophomore campaign, after a freshman performance that put her on the all-freshman team, as well as the Big East second team. Rodriguez. Savage fighting for it. Mary Kate Simon doing well to win it back for Marquette. Burrier up for Campana. And a Marquette throw. Golden Eagles last beat this Butler team 2-1 in overtime in 2016, the same year that they made that deep run in the Big East tournament. Eventually falling to Georgetown. Annika Schmidt guiding it into the hands of Rodriguez. Golden Eagles in a 3-way tie for 5th with Nova and Providence, whose match was delayed to start the afternoon, as was Georgetown's match against Seton Hall. So both of those matches do have implications with regard to the teams on the pitch here this afternoon in Indianapolis. Georgetown and Butler tied, and Providence, Nova, and Marquette all tied. And all 5 of those teams currently above the playoff line. 4th place, DePaul, and 1st place, Xavier, separated by less than 3 points. Every match the rest of the way, today and Thursday, have widespread implications. What a fun way to close out the Big East women's soccer regular season campaign. Campus sites all the way till the final, which will be played in Creighton. In Omaha, rather, on the campus of Creighton. Mary Kate Simon. Savage. Just a bit out of her reach. Bombasino. Spurrier. Back to Yeager. Butler have dropped back a bit with this aggressive start from Marquette, making it more difficult.
There's like 3 of them, and they like love my fucking
Butler unbeaten in their last 5 matches. And again, as Audrey talked about in the first half, so good at home. They have not lost a conference match at the Selig Bowl since October 6, 2016.
Oh, yeah, I know. There needs to be a term for
It has become a nearly impenetrable fort.
Go with the counter
A unique stadium and field in the Big East Conference. Leonard coming forward, gives it off to Kloosterman. Peyton Black. Monica Schmidt now, who's gotten more comfortable, according to the coaches, in possession, something she wasn't asked to do at UConn as a freshman. She's come to Indianapolis and done a fine job. Wood already has her first career goal. And you see Miller that time over the top bar. Miller has been so active this afternoon. Here she is playing it past Hess. Well, Terry St. John and her staff have emphasized possession. And Butler have possessed perhaps better than they have all season today. With purpose and precision. And that's why you see the score line that you see on your screen. 3-0 Butler, all 3 coming in the first half. Over 10 minutes gone now in the final 45 from Indianapolis as Marquette desperately looking for that first goal. Showing some urgency here on a quick throw to Campana. Defended by Julia Leonard. Sprecher gets a bad hop, stays in bounds. And back to Butler.
Look at her, she was like a fish out of water. Damn, Skippy. Uh-oh, the ref's gonna be like, oh, you gotta move the ball 3 feet backwards.
Sprecher, Wetherell. Well defended by Celia Gaynor, and she wins it back for the team in white. And Kloosterman in no hurry to find it forward. What we have seen from this Butler team today, a real mind for attacking and aggression. But what we saw from them a week ago today on this very field against Georgetown was a comfortability in defense. And that may serve them well through the Big East tournament, seeing different styles of play and being forced into different situations, trailing, leading, etc. Alana Wood, who had her first career goal at the end of the first half, lines up the corner kick. Nearly 15 minutes gone here in the first half.
Up the elevator shaft.
Savage. Back for Kloosterman, wide to Wood. Alana Wood.
She's never been made fun of at school. Never. Absolutely never. I went to school with a Mike and Mark Hunt. Think about that. And they had another brother named John. He left out. Yeah, but middle school, we were pretty mean.
Butler.
It
Blocked
wasn't
out
funny until about 7th grade.
by Brianna Yeager, and a corner coming on the other side now. Wind is really whipping to the north side of the field, so towards the Marquette goal. The goal that Butler is currently surrounding, as they did so much in the first half. Wood will take the corner again. Tipped away by Mattie Henry coming off her line. Well played by the senior keeper, making her 75th start this afternoon. Leonard finds the foot of Savage, blocked by Yeager. And now Campana. There's a run being made on the far side by Bombasino. Monticello now. Bombasino doing her best to stay on side. Butler doing well to get back in transition. And now Butler perhaps on the counter. Kloosterman. Miller. Mary Kate Simon. One match remains for both sides. After today, it will be Marquette heading to Chicago to take on DePaul. We're coming off a win against Georgetown on Thursday in overtime.
I can stop the ball.
Butler, on the other hand, they take on first place Xavier on Thursday night right here at the Bowl. And that has the potential to be the deciding match for a spot in the top two, depending on what happens with Xavier's game today. Should they win and Butler hang on here, they would have a 1-point lead over the Dogs going into the final match of the regular season. Meanwhile, Georgetown also 1 point behind Xavier, tied with Butler. Should they get a result against Seton Hall, well, then we'd be keeping an eye on their match as well. We'd have 3 teams who could potentially occupy the top 2 seeds. Really exciting run to the finish. Alana Wood, a round of applause. She's brought off by Terry St. John, as is Celia Gaynor. And now the fresh substitution, Carly Gehring coming on for Wood. 27 minutes remain from Butler. Dogs on top 3-0. Kloosterman heads it on. Henry deflecting contact and maintains. And now trying to will her team to find that goal. You wouldn't know it by the scoreline, but Mattie Henry has played really well this afternoon. She may be down 3-0, but not for a lack of an effort on her side. She's made some spectacular saves. Marquette's all-time leading saves. And she's also making her 75th start. Has played a lot of soccer between the posts. Crow playing it in now for Butler. Campana. Kloosterman winning it back. She is an unstoppable engine in the midfield. Katie Soderstrom coming back on for Butler's Macy Miller. Those two have been vital in today's match and all season long for the Bulldogs, who, should they keep the scoreline the same and get a result, would improve to 10-4-3 on the year and 5-1-2 in conference. Soderstrom tracking it down now, one-on-one with Yeager. Soderstrom. She was looking for Carly Gehring. Xavier and DePaul are tied at 1 with just over 22 minutes left in the second half in Cincinnati. That is a massive match because DePaul, who currently sits in 4th place, is less than a game behind Xavier in the standings. DePaul sits alone in 4th with 13 points, 2 points behind Xavier. Butler have been awarded a penalty. Here's one more look at it. It was a high ball in, and Maddie Monticello was caught in the crossfire. Well, it's a tough call against Monticello. Savage lines up and could potentially make it 4-0 for Butler. Savage. Blocked by Henry. On the rebound, Henry collects. What a save by Mattie Henry. If that doesn't inspire you, I don't know what else will. The senior has been magnificent. And we play on. Can Marquette use that and find a goal here? Still plenty of soccer to play. Villanova and Providence have begun their match. Nova on top 1-0 with
Marquette substitution.
just about halfway to go in the final 45 minutes. About 22 minutes remain between Villanova and Providence, and the Villanova Wildcats are on top of the Providence Friars 1-0. That's important for Marquette in particular, who is currently in a three-way tie with those two teams. Marquette does have the head-to-head advantage on Villanova. But should Nova win and Marquette lose, well, then Nova would actually jump Marquette in the standings, and they would get to 13. And in the history of the Big East Women's Soccer League, since realignment anyway, no team with 13 points has missed the Big East tournament. So Villanova perhaps could find some comfort in that history should they hang on to beat Providence later today. Marquette, though, fighting. Out for a throw. "21 minutes left in regulation."
Is it going to be like a Butler 4 or whatever? It's already been predetermined? I did not, because I don't get a foul. I would say Boomers is more than Blues. Blue just kind of blows things to its nose nostrils and drags his body hip threats. He does tackle kids when you do that, but I did love that. I love me some mascots and like full-grown male athletes and mascots.
As far as the standings go today for Marquette anyway, should they not mount a comeback here and remain at 10 points, they'd be looking at Creighton then as the next team who could potentially pass them today depending on their result. Creighton playing at St. John's today, and they are just 2 points behind the three teams tied for 5th, which include the Marquette Golden Eagles. So if Creighton were to win, Marquette lose, Nova win, then it would be Providence and Marquette potentially battling on the final day of the regular season next week to see who could get into the tournament. Providence plays at Seton Hall on Thursday. Marquette plays at DePaul. Nova plays at Creighton, who, depending on their result today, could be playing for a spot in the top 4, depending on what happens, which is truly incredible considering today they are below the playoff line. But that's just how close everything is in this conference. Carly Gehring is away. She's got runners coming forward, including Soderstrom. Mattie Henry there to scoop that up, and quickly thrown out now to Campana. Speaking of Creighton and St. John's, that game is finally underway. 15 minutes left in the first half. Still no score between them and the St. John's Red Storm.
That's all I got. That's all.
That does have massive implications particularly for Creighton. Georgetown and Seton Hall just 20 minutes away from beginning their match out on the East Coast. 3 p.m. start at Shaw Field in D.C. After the weather delay, restart coming for Marquette. And the clock has been stopped. Trey Crowell saying no more. Eckert has come on for Sprecher. And Mary Kate Simon got a touch, but the offside flag came up. Elena Eckert's making her 14th appearance. What a story she's been for Marquette. Played a combined 43 minutes in her first 2 seasons, and now making her 14th appearance of the year here as a junior. Skoglund. And played back out by Brianna Yeager. Abby Hess. Emily Hess now. Monticello. Butler pressing. Julia Leonard into the middle.
I can show you Marlana. But it's hard to find one.
Crow. Becky Dean making a run for Butler. Back out now to Bombasino. Time not on the Golden Eagles side. Butler, should they keep a clean sheet, would make it 5 consecutive matches without conceding a goal. Certainly one of the most dangerous teams in this league heading into postseason play. Here is Kowalski on the near side. Kowalski on Mary Kate Simon. Well, that was tricky. Missing the post by about a foot. Here's another look at it. Didn't need much space to turn the corner. Maybe 2 feet wide of the goal. Aaron Johnston now coming on. Marquette making a run. Eckert. And cleared off the back line by Amanda Kowalski. Now a go from Wetherell. Johnson, low ball in. She was looking for Hess, keeping it alive. A lot of bodies down, nothing from the referee despite pleads.
MK, drop right shoulder.
Here's another look at it. Marquette pleading for a penalty. Hess getting rolled over as play continues now the other way. Butler coming forward in the offensive third. Turned back by Taylor Crow. Certainly Butler do not have to do much here to keep this lead. They just have to possess for long enough that Marquette is unable to get opportunities like the one that they just had. And now time really melting away. An enemy of the Golden Eagles at this point. 14 shots for Butler in this match. And a number of them have been saved, spectacularly so, by Mattie Henry. Kowalski. Yeager got a piece of it, tipping it into the hands of Mattie Henry. He's trying to quickly get it out there and finally does now to Eckert. And a turnover. Skoglund has a hit. Doesn't get much closer than this from Gretchen Skoglund, the freshman from Webster Groves, Missouri. Knuckling past the post. Ten minutes and change remain in Indianapolis.
Somebody said that word. I'm so nervous. Damn it, Josh Baker. Remember, before Scott Timpson started selling insurance, he went out to sell out.
Butler inching ever closer to their 10th win of the season. Another double-digit W year for Terry St. John and the Butler Bulldogs. Taking a look around the league at games of interest. Creighton and St. John still no score as the first half gets near a conclusion there. 6 minutes left in New York City. DePaul and Xavier, a game that the Butler fans have an eye on, tied at 1 still with 6.5 minutes left in regulation. Butler, at least for the time being, should that match go into overtime there in Cincinnati and Butler hang on here, the Dogs would actually jump Xavier in the standings and be in possession of first place for however long that may be. DePaul could potentially jump into a top 2 position today, depending on what happens in their match against Xavier and then with Georgetown. First place and fourth place separated by 2 points today. Here's a ball in, tipped away by Rodriguez. What a save. Perhaps just the second time she's been tested today, and she comes up big for Butler. Look at this ball in. Wetherell just finds a way to get it in the area no matter where she's from. The goal is a magnet for the ball when it's on the end of Katrina Wetherell's foot. Certainly a bright career ahead of her in Milwaukee. Mary-Kate Simon playing it back. Mary-Kate Simon lets it roll out. Low ball, alive on the end of the foot of Wetherell.
When the guy runs this way, I'll be like, hey. Damn it, Leland.
Kowalski. There's some sort of an issue with the clock, and now the referee, Trey Krell, running over to our fourth official. More than a minute perhaps should have been taken off. Terry St. John looking for an explanation. And yes, 1 minute and 5 seconds have been taken off. So 4:40 left in regulation here at Butler.
Butler substitution for 25, Maddie Farnsworth for 2, Katie Satterstrom.
Sometimes. Just depends on the day.
Still a 1-1 tie in Cincinnati with 1 minute and 45 seconds left. Massive crowd on hand as Xavier tries to hang on to first place in the Big East Women's Soccer Conference. Should Xavier lose today, Butler would jump into first and could be in sole possession of first place if Georgetown is unable to pull out 3 points against Seton Hall later on this afternoon. wide sweeping implications in all 5 matchups in the Big East women's soccer final Sunday of the regular season. The first round will begin a week from today. The regular season finale on Thursday night for all teams, and then the first round would start a week from today with the higher seed hosting on-campus sites. Top 2 seeds receive a bye. That's what Butler's playing for here.
As I spoke too soon, now I got pissed off.
And certainly Terry St. John and Rob Allman have to be really pleased with the effort and the execution. Absolutely precise and tactical execution from Butler in the first half. No breakdowns to speak of defensively, and really solid in the offensive third. For Marquette, they have to rebound quickly because they have a big match on Thursday at DePaul. And their playoff hopes are not dashed just yet. Campana. One hopped into the midst of Rodriguez. 2 minutes remain. Butler on top 3-0. Closer now to another clean sheet. It would be their 5th consecutive match without a goal allowed. They have 9 clean sheets this season, should they finish 3-0 on Marquette today. Yeager forward. Laid back by Taylor Crow. And cleared all the way down for Mattie Henry. 90 seconds left. Butler to host Xavier, who have just scored in the final minute thanks to Sam Dewey, the league's leading goal scorer. So the Musketeers, barring any sort of miraculous comeback in the final 30 seconds in Cincinnati, have found the late game winner on the foot of Samantha Dewey. That is huge because they will remain a point up on the Bulldogs heading into the regular season finale between Xavier and Butler on Thursday night, right here from the Butler Bowl on Twitter, YouTube, and Caffeine TV. And yes, Xavier, it is final now in Cincinnati. The Musketeers winners over DePaul 2-1. So they will maintain sole possession of first place, in spite of Butler's win here and whatever happens between Georgetown and Seton Hall. What a win for Sam Dewey and the Xavier Musketeers as Butler coming forward. Carly Gehring on the edge of the box, headed away by Mary Kate Simon. A go from Gaynor, and that should just about do it here from Butler. Well, this certainly sets up a very fun
10, 9,
season finale on Thursday night here in Indianapolis.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And that is it from Indy. The Dogs winners 3-0 over the Marquette Golden Eagles. Butler improves to 5-1-2 in conference play. Another 10-win season for the Dogs, and more importantly, 3 points. They now have 17, 1 behind Xavier, setting up a match of all matches between 2 schools separated by less than 2 hours on Thursday night here in Indianapolis. Prime time, 7 p.m. kickoff. A chance for a Big East regular season crown between Xavier and Butler. The Dogs, big winners at home, where they have not lost in the conference since October 2016. For Audrey Westcott, our producer Nate Seisnell, and our entire Rush Media crew, I'm Matt Schumacher saying so long from Indianapolis.